for the record here. Boy, I tried to fix something here yesterday on this YouTube, and boy, that turned out to be, whoa, wow. I had to reload everything, and so we'll see. This is I have a different YouTube loaded because I don't know. I guess my 4G phone is not liking this new this new YouTube, so I've got some alternatives. So we'll see if this works. Uh, what a nightmare this electronic world is. I tell you, it just causes me a lot of heartache. Nothing ever seems to function like it should, but okay, thank you, Father, for that, good and bad. So any day now, I don't know how many days we got before this sun is going to take down all this electronic grid here that we have a sunspot that's the most active sunspot that we've had in 7 years. So I know most people don't feel it, and now it's okay. But one more indicator that, like a thief, he says, so I'm not trying to change it and to put down for the record like I have been doing for, a long time. Sometimes you just need to daily cross it, right? Cross that every day and put it out there and let it go into the ether, if you will. So beautiful day. Looks like the first day of spring. Thanks for coming in, Ross. Out here. So I got to use my time wisely, but I wanted to come on and make a mention about this sun, what it's doing. Every day that it shoots off another one of these solar flares, it's scrubbing off this magnetic protection that I'm talking about. So our chances at that lifting of the tides, the negation of gravity or electronics or magnetics, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not splitting hairs. You call it whatever you want. They call it gravity. I call it magnetics and electricity. But either way, the negation of both of those, I believe, is what's going to cause this tidal event. So stronger and stronger. Here we go. Just like he said his books would be, and just like I told you, exactly. Strongest solar, sunspot, 3663. Are you kidding me? But anyways, another X flare from the sun. And so here we are with a barrage of proton events, deionized and ionized gases, plasma hitting our magnetic protection, weakening the field strength. So every day just gets more plausible, more probable because of just sheer numbers. This ain't gonna be because of anything but by God, because he does it all by the number. How about that? So by the firmament, by the mark, by the step, one jot, one tittle at a time. So not trying to get in the way. I'm trying to get out of the way. Out of the way of people. People have lost their minds, man. Let me tell you. I posted this motorhome online, and people are so freaking out of their brain skulls now. They just, don't care what you say. They just in their own, I guess, just lost in their own world. I don't know what it is. I think they think we're living on a spinning ball or something. So that's the problem, I think, with most people, is they're just not, they don't even know where they're at. They live on a star and they call it a planet. Can you be any more of an apostate to God? Yeah, celebrate your own birthday, or go to a kid's birthday party and not speak up about it. Don't make a stink about all the birth dates that are celebrated around the world and nobody cares. So don't talk about the Star of Bethlehem. Don't talk about the Revelation 12. I don't talk about anything. Just sleep. Sleepy. No, creepy, not sleepy, remember? So, don't get started on that, Tracy. Started. So, anyways, Fed, I hate the feds. Why do you have the name that says Fed? Oh, you're gonna make me want to puke all over you. Why would you put Fed in your name? The Feds suck. The federal government's an apostate to God. It's an adversary. It's not in the dose. It's made its own way. It's gone off on its forwarded and perverted because they were making their own law. I hate the government and the feds and all these alphabet soup agencies and all these people who support this system and all these bootlicking people, because I should resist like my father did, and they killed him and stuck him with a sword and bled him out, shoved a crown of thorns into his head, and nailed his hands and his feet to a yoke and to a tree. Yep, because he wouldn't go by the law. Yep, that's why they killed him. It wasn't some cotton candy, marinated, orgy sex biscuit Catholic Jesus, Christmas Jesus. He called people out for being perverted. So, yeah, perverted. To forwarded is the Greek word. He said, you're forwarding my law. So he wouldn't go by the law. And most people are bootlickers. So, F Donald Trump. He's covering for creepy. You'll never see Donald Phallic Tower drop 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes dancing Israeli. I now have the tallest building in the world. Decorate my house with Satan. Call myself the chosen one. The king of the jab. The greatest Jabadooski ever bow to the altar of jab. A protein spike mimicker. Gene therapy. Roll up your sleever. Apostasy. Lock her up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Absolute disgusting, most filthy, disgusting swine on the planet. To decorate your house with Satan and then call yourself a chosen one? Do you support him? Do you support that? And do you support the system? He's winning in the polls. But, I'm not your but, I hate the presidents. All of them. They're all in apostasy to God. They're mass murderers. Do you support this mass murder? Which one? Red or blue? You're about to get kicked out of here. I don't keep company with vipers. I don't cast my pearls before swine. Do you support this stuff? And I'm not your bud. Do you support this crap? This mass murder? Whether he's red or blue, Democrat, Republican? Are you an idiot? Are you ignorant? Which one? Seriously. You'll never find Donald Trump saying creepy Joe Biden. You want to explain yourself? Are you one of those people that was lulled to sleep? Are you one of these people? Do you support any of these people? Because I don't. I don't support none of this system. It's against the New Testament. Let vengeance be mine. Do not avenge yourselves. Look at that. We have I'm a veteran. So the guilt rides on my heart. And a prior thug, jackboot thug myself. A law enforcement. I was putting people in jail and confined them, arrested them and confined them for victimless crimes. Because that's what I did, because I was an idiot and an ignorant fool. But he said, come out of her, my people. So I don't support none of this. He said, be not partakers in their unfruitful. See, I listen to the word of God. Ephesians 5. Paul, the apostle. Not partakers in their unfruitful works of darkness. Be not partakers. Expose them, rebuke them. So they're vile and they're vain and they're vanity. This whole system is corrupted. I know, I work for it. I've had that jackboot on my own foot. On the neck of nations, on the neck of people within this country. This country is an apostasy to God at this point. 1,008 military bases and over 1,000 in 180 countries. Okay, so bye. You're choosing one of these mass murders. Don't ever come back here. You're vile. You're vain. I'm only choosing. Yeah, you gave your allegiance, your mark, your karak. That's your character. That's who you go after. Go ahead and vote for your own enslavement. Vote for your own overlord. You can't police yourself? Grow up. Be sevened. Vile system. So anyways, it's made people the way they are and whatever. This is righteous judgment that I'm passing. I don't hear no lollipop Christian crap in here. Christians are vile. They celebrate birth. They're vanity. They're vain. They're worthless to the Father. Presbyterians, Catholic, all of those religions, every one of them. They're not one of them. They're all vanity. Well, they go after Baal in the grove and worship self. And so I rest my case. Twice he said, and then rebuke them. So I rebuke anybody who goes after Baal in the grove and is okay with the birth, the celebration of birth. Only heathens and Satanists celebrate birth. So look up your historical, not stupid, twisted religion, biblical record. So anyways, hallelujah, Father. By your grace, we're all still here under this electronic panopticon system, military, industrial, selling bullets and Band-Aids, making money on both sides of these wars. Third rock from the sun, corkscrewing and spinning. Can't corkscrew and spin me through time. Don't believe in space. Look at all the nonsense, guys. I mean, it's just, and that's okay. I'm filthy rags, just pointing out the obvious. I'm no better, not above anybody. I'm just going in a different direction, it seems, than 99.98% of the world. I don't know. Just 0.8. Yeah. The Holy Spirit, that's what it's me and him. My brothers and sisters, I know there's others like myself, but to be a witness of this, if you didn't see that in the end of days, their hearts will be waxed cold. Waxed cold. Waxed. Why? Because they're lovers of pornea. Their agape is pornea. That's what they go after, latria. You know, the pornea, latria, the Greek word for idolatry. They go after self. They're lovers of self. And so self-law and self-serving self, their eyes, serve their eyes, lies. They don't even look up. Sad, but it's true. And he said, I will come like a thief, because they're sleeping and their light is off. If they're not burning, they don't have, the vessel is filled with darkness. They don't mix dark and light, so it should be pretty obvious. You'll know them by their fruits, right? So don't keep company with vipers. Do not cast your pearls before swine. These are amazing times we live in. And amazing to be the witness of a passing of an age. Whoa, we are in that last book. Woo! That is fire right there. If there was something, he'd come back with eyes of fire, right? He's going to bring the fire. Get your wife, Lot, get out of town. I'm bringing the fire. So, you know, like heaven fallen from earth to earth, huh? Cast from, oh yeah, I cannot wait till he throws down these gates and blast that thump an apostasy to God, try to sell me Bibles and tell me to pledge my allegiance to a flag. I pledge my allegiance to Shiloh, to the Father who art in heaven, Christ in you, brothers and sisters. There we go. We grow up watching television and be programmed and, oh wait, I'm old. So programmed and you watch channels and you go to school so you can go with the flow. So we went to the moon, right? Yeah, right. Let me sell you some pond water in Alaska, right? Anyways, Sunspot 3663. Most active sunspot in 7 years, brothers, sisters. The world is asleep. Only by the grace of God are we still here. Yeah, we only see one spot of the lunar phase. Why is that, huh? Every single planet, God didn't create planets, we're going by their model, is corkscrewing and spinning in this third dimension through time and space, through the universe. All of them, everything's spinning. Everything is spinning. It's supposedly we're spinning at 1,040. Go by their model. Hold on, I don't believe in this model. Remember, Tracy, you're going to get yourself thrown off your own channel. Remember, we're supposed to talk about the shapes in here. So anyways, you're corkscrewing and you're spinning through time and space, right? In this third dimension, third rock from the sun, through the universe, right? Haven't hit anything yet. So, so if that's the thing, how if you know anything about math, reconstruction, I did that for a living, traffic reconstruct. One fixed object, the moon doesn't, that kind of debunks the whole model. Wah, 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 the moon. It kind of ruins your whole model. But anyways, it's all right. Remember, it's all hocus pocus. I don't believe in none of that. But there are things that are going on in the mechanics. It doesn't matter. That's why we don't care where you put your round peg and who's square or what hole you're. Never mind. Please, the shape is irrelevant. The effects from that sun, I'm not talking about galactic. Please don't go there. Please don't go there. It's a firmament. There's the waters above, the waters below. If you twist it and forward it, then you've moved away from the Word of God. You know what I'm saying? You've moved away from God's word. If you add to that, he warned you. That's the very last thing he said before he left here. Shiloh, he said, if you add to this book one jot or tittle, like adding a planet. Well, there's a whole word. You just added a whole word to the word of God. You're a blasphemous, heathenistic, Satanistic antichrist, according to that word. Anything in opposition, one jot or tittle added, is antichrist. So I'm just telling you what his book says. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to get you to understand God didn't create any planets. So why do you believe that you're corkscrewing and spinning? You know what I'm saying? Where in the book does it say we're corkscrewing and spinning? It says the earth cannot be moved from its foundation. It said that heaven and the earth will be shaken, but it cannot be stirred. So what in the TARDIS? Are you TARDIS? Yeah. What in the Hades? What in the abyss are you talking about? What in the Nobusos? What in the Nobatos? That's knowledge. What in the no knowledge? He said, my people will perish for lack of Nobusos. They will have no knowledge. And I will send them to the place of the abyss, where they have an angel, a messenger, angelos, messenger over them, the king, their king, the antichrist. You call him the devil. That's the daemonion, the distributor of fortunes or lies. That's right. It's the abyss, the place of, my people will perish for lack of Nobusos, and I'll send them to the place of Nobusos. Nobusos, Nobatos. Goodbye. It's cannabis, and I want to hear about you getting stoned. You're abusing God's medicine. He made it medicine. I rebuke you. I'm a medical grower, and I can't stand people like you who make and give God's medicine, cannabis, a bad name. Truly. Go get stoned and don't do anything except for sit on a computer all day and be an idiot. So, guys, got to take this call. I'll be right back. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy. I'll be right back. He needs some pictures taken. He's trying to sell something. So he's trying to get a hold of me, and I couldn't get out of here because my tire was, the tire's not holding air. So it stays up and then it goes back down. So I need to get a new tire. So I told him that I was stuck. He's called me a couple of times, and sometimes every once in a while, we're kind of acquaintances and stuff. Sometimes he'll just come by. So I thought he might and whatever. And I tried to call him, and we've been played tag a couple of times. So I appreciate your patience there. He called, and I try to help him out when I can, because he gives me a ride into town when I need it. So I'm not wasting, I pay him for the gas or whatever, but I'm not wasting my time. We kind of split it, and it works out that way. And no, it's the bead. It's the bead. The tires are old, Ross. They just, front of both tires need replaced. They both keep slowly. They're just old because they both go down to, if I showed you, there's cracks all around that. I need new tires. I've hurt myself so many times messing with these front two tires, but that's the way everything is in my life. It's massive struggle. So, and I never have the extra, funds I need, because it's always something else. So I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna stay on here too long, because now I told him I'd go help him, and just like everything, it's always that takes away from my time, and that's fine. It's worth it to me. I don't care. I already reached my peak. I could died last night, so I'm fine. There's nothing I need to accomplish other than to just serve the Father, take up my cross, and it'll all be fine. It's just, yeah, I just never have the things I need. I'm always one step away from being able to kind of get but then I go, it is what it is. It's no problem. Just like this, I was just about ready to get to work. He called me. I'm going to have to go over there. So that's just the way my life always works. But I'm willing to do whatever he says. Beat me, Father. It is what it is. So anyways, I'm going to probably not be on here too long and try to find my way up there, because the tire doesn't hold air. No, like I said, guys, the bead on the tire, they're old and it's already been went down like this multiple times. So there's a crack rim all the way. It just leaks air all around. They're shot. Shouldn't be driving on them, but I do what I have to. I make everything work. So I appreciate all the advice, but I need new tires. It just is what it is. I've been messing with these two tires. I've already replaced the back ones, and these were the original ones that I bought, and with the vehicle, and so I haven't been able to replace them, because I can't I can't buy a set of tires. I can't do that. I only bought two for the back, so there were two. I should have bought four for the back, but only bought two and couldn't buy the front two. But whatever, it is what it is. I got it up. It just took me forever. I couldn't get the darn thing off the ground, because I don't have a jack that works anymore. I've got 4 or 5 jacks that need rebuilt or whatever. I just haven't. So none of them are big. None of the bigger jacks or anything like that. They're just, whatever. But shouldn't he be jacking up that truck? That truck shouldn't be lifting that stuff up. Everything I lift up with my smaller jacks, it shouldn't be. I'm lifting building stuff that I shouldn't even do. So anyways, I'm going to have to go up there, and I'm sure he's got an air compressor if it goes down or something. Hopefully it just doesn't come off the bead, because I don't have a spare. Then I'll really be in a bad position. But I'll figure it out either way. And it's just tires. I'm saying it's just down. It's the last vehicle I got. So I'm using what I have, guys. That's the way it normally works with me. I'm always got to use what I have, and if it's not the right tool for the job, then I make it work. I like having the right tool for the job, but I haven't most of my life had the right tool for the job. Sometimes I haven't. Man, it's nice having that just breathing room, a little bit of comfort. I'm always don't like driving on the edge and knowing that, hey, this is my last vehicle. I'm down, or whatever, but that's life, right? It ain't Burger King. You can't always have it your way. So hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us, right? Just deal with it. So, anyways, I did get it off the ground, and it did, like I said, it's such a hassle just to get it down when the tire goes down, because that frame is so low to the ground that I have to dig out from underneath it and get it up, because my pump only goes up like this much at a time, and then block it up. So we're talking 3 hours to put air in the tire. So stupid stuff like that don't even make sense, but whatever, that's always everything. And whining me, I'm just telling you, that's my life. It's always a struggle. With most things, just because of the lack of, maybe if I would chase more dollars in the past or something, had just a little bit more. All right, guys, I got to go. I got to deal with this motorhome thing too, and figure out, I'm probably going to pull this ad. I'm tired of people, I don't have pictures of the back of it, because I'm selling it for $1,500. It's a Toyota motorhome. The motor's worth $1,000, $1,100. It's got 96,000 original miles. I guess somebody wants to pay me $300 or $400 or $500, I think, for one side, both $500 to ship out the dash on it alone. So, yeah, see, and Ross, this is an industrial. Remember, this is a heavy vehicle. It's the Isuzu flatbed, so it's not your average, So I don't even, the cigarette lighter doesn't work in that, so I couldn't make the pump work in that vehicle anyway. See, it's always something. So, anyways, I don't care. soon I'm going to die and none of this is going to matter. It's hopefully. So it's just stupid money. And I hate life so much because of money, but I have to have it and I have to deal with crap like this to get these. So I'll figure out if there's a will, there's a way. So I'm going to go help this guy and try to get back over here. Keep my cool. Okay, cool. Anyways, I got to get these cabins done because I'm done dealing with idiots on the internet. You know, people since the jab, you know, I've made my way for 20 years and told you I'm trying to do this to get this off my plate. But again, dealing with this, you know, I don't have any pictures of the back because I'm using it for storage to hold all my insulation in for the cabin because I can't stuff all that over there and I'm working in there. So, you know, it says in my ad right at the top, I do not have any pictures of the interior camper portion. I have all the front motor, all the, you know, tires in, but I don't have any pictures of the camper. It says all the appliances. It's a very detailed ad, but it says it right at the top. I don't have any pictures. Don't ask. Can I please get some pictures of it? I'm really interested. Send some pics of the inside. Why does your ad not have pictures in it? Because I'm selling it for the price of the rear end's worth $1,000 in it. It's got a, not the floating, but the true dually 1-ton rear end in this model. You know, that's why I bought it. I didn't care about the camper. I could remodel it. I just hadn't got around. It's just one or more of those things, you know, and I put it up for a stupid $1,500 price. You've seen the price of Toyotas right now, and people are just so foolish. They don't care. So I better get off here because I got to go help Gary, and I've got to get these cabins rented, guys, because I can't do this internet thing anymore with people. It's just a struggle, and I'm so thankful for the last 3 months that God shut me down. Even though it was a struggle for finances, it's so much more worth. Honestly, I did it by the street with some help from you guys, but selling things I didn't want to sell. I sold my wood splitter. I sold my generator. I sold the things I need for out here, but I'm sure I'll have a tire by then. But anyways, I get it back to these cabins because that's going to be my source of income. I just can't seem, like I said, people will not, I don't know what it is. Everything's DoorDash, everything's Uber Eats. They just, you know, want me to, will you meet me in California with the motorhome? I'm selling it for scrap price and somebody wants me to drive it to California. You know what I'm saying? My internet just came back up again. Remember, for 3 months, they shut me down since the title video. And that's what I need to prepare for, not worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. Remember, I just need to get a vehicle and get the flock out of Dodge, guys. That's all I'm concerned about. So all this is I just got to get these small things and I'll get back to where I was, guys, because I was not like this until I got robbed 3 times over and over again, multiple times, $20,000 worth of stuff just sitting there, still 10, 12 miles from my house, still sitting there, 20. And you've seen it's online, fighting with the cops, fighting with the district attorney, fighting with the sheriff, literally having literal verbal wars with these people. And this will not help me. You know, all these things that happen. And I know it's God testing me, who's hit me financially, because I didn't struggle like this. I didn't care if I had 1 penny over. My family's totally got all the money in the world, but remember, they took everything I owned. Everything I own. And I was just a single dad trying to make it out here in the desert, trying to start out, just actually, you know, that's just the way God always does me. You know, in ways I do it to myself because I make my own decisions as well. Self-love. I really feel like I have a love for the Father. So I know it just is what it is. We'll reap what we sow. I've been saying that. I know we're close. There's a lot of things that are coming and that are on the plate. So my treasure's in heaven more than anything. It's just stupid finances, but that's what these cabins will give me, is hopefully some financial freedom from the internet. So it has been such a blessing for the last few months not have to deal with people. Even though it was a struggle, like, I don't know how I'm going to make it if I can't sell anything. Nothing's, even no hits, none for nothing. It doesn't matter how many I post, what the price I put something up. Obviously, it was electronically taken down after the TikTok stream. It's all still down. Remember, there's no movement. Can't do anything. It's all frozen. So I know what it is. It's the title shift video that I did. because it's only me and one other person on this earth declaring it right now. So I'm going to get a beating, but I'm not going to have to wait forever. 10/24 or 24 is not that far away, and the weather is already shifting. There's no more seasons on this planet. Are you out of your mind? Seriously, are you that stupid that you really think that we have seasons on it? Have you looked at the upper jet stream? There's no way we could have seasons if you've been paying attention. I didn't mean to go there. I'm not, whatever. I mean, are ignorant, maybe. My apology. But it's a trickle down effect, not like Reaganomics, but for real. You've been paying attention to this stuff for decades. This is not something that's hideable anymore. And so, hot, extreme cold, records just shattered all over this earth. So it's happening. I ain't tripping. I don't have that much further to make it before this system's going to do what it's going to do. We will reap what we sow. Those who took and prepared for these days will probably do much better than those who didn't. That's all I'm saying. Those with less will have more, and those with more will have less. I told you, there's a resetting. They know it. We're already here. Whoa, all that, whatever. I'm already blessed. My treasure is knowledge, celestial eyes, beyond wealth that I could have ever imagined. So hopefully I can find my way through to not go Old Testament on somebody and rip their head off. I won't do that. I'm pacifist, remember. I'm just trying to get a truck and get out of here, or have the option to go if that day comes, where I need to go. And that's all that's bothering me. I've said just in a few days, guys, couple of days, this weather's going to finally break for me. I need temperatures overnight to do concrete. I don't do something half cheeked, if you will, 2 cheeks to the same hole. So hallelujah, late. And I knew it would be late this year. I planned on mid-April, but it's going to be mid-May before I actually get to do those, because it was late last. See, there's already such a broke up of everything. So yeah, look at the whole world going around like there's seasons and stuff, acting like everything's normal. Seriously, what a bunch of ignorant fools to not react to this. And they'll pay the price. They will be the low-hanging fruit. They are the silent majority. And they stand around, and that's why evil flourishes. And I don't want to dispute what, it is written in Psalms that they're good men. But how could they be good if they don't speak up and say anything or do anything about it? So women, men, whatever. One race, the human race. How are we acting like this? Was it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 families own almost 40-50% of the world's wealth right now? Wow. I know, but I can't do that, Ross. I can't change all 6 tires. I have a dually, and I can't. I can only change 2. I need to change the front 2 for sure now, but got to rob Peter to pay Paul, right? So it is what it is. I ain't tripping. It's just stupid money, and I hate it to death, and it's my enemy. I don't love it. So I don't care. It's not a big deal. I have bigger fish to fry on this earth, and that's to get this shelter done, and to get a truck, and build an overland vehicle. 2 things on my plate. Oh, and a wife. I'm looking for a wife still. Whatever. I'm going hardcore in the paint now. I ain't hiding nothing. I'm tired of being alone. I'm gonna find somebody who wants to be with me, and if not, whatever. I don't care. Truck, wife, and I've already accomplished most everything I need. So as long as I carry my cross, it doesn't matter. I've already, somebody wants to share what it is that I've done, that'd be great. But if not, I'll plan on being alone, because that's my plan. Tried for 10 years to, make community and work. So I'm going to plan on being alone. See, my work in the opposite favor for me. I've tried 10 years to build something that never, maybe if I plan on being alone, somebody I get 5 people show up, in my world or something. But it's all of God. And I'm not, like I say, guys, it's just, I'll get to this point. I know, again, we reap what we sow. So I just didn't need to make it to, to me, I'm going to try to make it to this point. I'm trying to just make it through this day, guys. Like I said, all that matters to me is being able to not fight with anybody. Flee. to the wilderness for safety, because I don't want to fight with anybody. And God's going to provide this for me. I know, and I'm going to do the works. It's not, I'm selling land. I think I've come up with the price for my land, and I'm willing to sell it, and I got the deed. So hopefully if somebody will buy it, I won't have these issues anymore, all my financial issues, and I could do a lot of the things that I need. Gravel in the driveway and a way to get in, my income, my whole life would change. You know, it's so funny. I see people driving around, you know, $125,000 pickups. That would, just a pickup, and they got a whole other thing. You know, I'm not know what I'm saying, but the littlest things. I don't need much to finish off what I'm doing out here. So blessings, because I'm going to hopefully bless somebody else with a piece of land that I really don't want to sell, but I will sell it to the right person if I find it. And if not, then God's going to still provide a way. I'm going to get busy out here, and you know I can rent these cabins out. I have no doubt. So it's just been my neglect. It's been my neglect, you know. So yeah, one person's car would change my life forever, and they just drive around it like it's nothing. So it's all right, guys. He gives everybody a different measure. Remember, you get 1, you get 2, you get 5, you know, everybody's, just make sure you're not hiding it. And that's what I don't want to do. You know, I want to try to use what it is that I have, my abilities. And so I've been able to create something out of nothing. You know, I do have blessing to have a beautiful place of rest, quietness, and all I've ever tried to do now is share it. And just because it didn't happen, oh well, I'm over it. I'm back to going to try to get out of here by myself, and I'll plan on that. And we'll see if anything else happens. That's will be a bonus to me. But my biggest failure in life right now that I failed was myself. So I'm going to try to fix that, because I shouldn't not have a way to get out of here, you know, and that's dangerous. That could risk my own having to fight, and I'm not going to fight. I'll walk away. I'm not. There's nobody here to share it with. What in the heck would I fight for any of this for? It doesn't matter. It's just stuff, you know what I'm saying? As I said, if it was a group of people or something, that would be fine, but it isn't. It's just one person. So it's time to go. It's time to leave. So I'm hoping the Father won't push too hard on me on this, because I've already tried to accomplish this so many times too, to get this vehicle and to have the option. But you know, all the other things that always come up. So, but I think this is obtainable, and this might turn into a blessing too. I might end up with a really good neighbor. So no, I'm not. There's no way. I'm not going to lose my way. Heck no. Remember, I have an ark to build and to get the heck out of here. Not like that. The ability to leave. That's it. That's all I need to accomplish. There's nothing else that I'm concerned about. Like I said, a wife would be great, but other than that, I'm good. And I don't need to do any of that. You understand? There's none of this that's going to be the death of me like that. You know what I'm saying? None of it needs to be done. None of it needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. But this is still him now pushing me to do this. This isn't me. Remember, I don't want to be here, but I will still do what it is that he commands me and has always commanded me to do. I'm not controlling my life. If I was, it would be different. Trust you me. It would be way different. Think about what you know what I'm saying? And I think what I would have would be organic. I'm not I'd have all these things. No, I would just have gravel in my driveway, gravel around my places, you know, just the basics. I don't need anything else. A wood mill. Remember, that's all, you know what I'm saying? Just a wood mill, or that's a mill so that I can continue this cabin thing but it's okay. He's already blessed me. I could die today and not, darn it, I got robbed. I didn't get to do this. No, there's no bucket list. I'm on solar. I'm off the grid. So cranking today. Batteries are full. I wish I had more batteries. I'd probably buy a couple more backup batteries, because I only have one battery that I do everything. So look at this system. This isn't even supposed to work. This is not even supposed to work, and I've had it working for 5 years. I don't want to hear it. It isn't supposed to work. And I did it. So, you know what I'm saying? I did what they said you can't do, and the system has worked great. You know, one time this almost after 4 years, just got hot. It's going to happen. It's not all converted. And they say you can't. Yes, you can. Don't listen to people say you can't about a lot of things, and try it. And so that's what I did. So I did it minimally, because I just have minimal things. So, but anyways, if I replace some of the things in my life, I would just replace the things that I already have that are broken, like my generator that the one I sold. I have one here that's broken. I would still try to figure. I wouldn't, if I had come into wealth, I wouldn't buy too wealthy, because then I wouldn't fit through that straight gate, right? So I ain't even trying to be like that. I'm a minimalist. I'm used to living very minimally, but it's I need to get my act together. You know what I'm saying? And stop living like this. You know what I'm saying? And step up my game a little bit. And I can. It's just because I live alone. You know what I'm saying? Just because I live alone, that I live that way. I got nobody to share or impress or anything like that. So why do I need to fancy? Remember, everything looks old. Look like a John Wayne movie set out here. Nothing looks new. The gentleman who has that fifth wheel, who's proctor on the property, my buddy, who's got the other, he's not here. He used to live here, but he isn't here anymore. And that's where I get water from, the property over there. He's about ready to get that fifth wheel hopefully out of here. And I'm so glad to see that thing go. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's white. I don't like it. I like old, I like worn and with age and character and a voice. My walls talk to me because they're all from a different place, somewhere in the state, or a different kind of wood, or they're just faded, So been around a while, so yeah. But Ruben, what I lack, I'm just letting you know what I lack right now. I should say this and get off here and go do what I need to do. I lack the ability to leave right now, Ruben, and I'll probably be okay, because I don't think anybody's going to get out. You can't come to the town that I live in. You have to live here for it's a township. It's not even a town. They just called this the largest dark sky sanctuary in the world. #1 place to see the stars, set apart from the light belt. They're probably going to stop selling property out here. They're going to put a stop to this. I'll figure this out. Always get way ahead of things like this. And then people tell me I'm crazy the whole time, like Noah, and then it happens. And then I'm not the crazy guy anymore. Well, I am, because I'm always on something new, because, whatever. It's like rich people, they're out of it. Not when the FOMO, they've already sold before that top, and they're moving into the next investment. You buy it low and sell it high, you idiots. Not buy it when people have already, it's getting a little overbought, and then you get the FOMO, the blow off top, and you don't know when to get out, and then it crack and you lose your money. They jack you every single time, huh? I don't do that. Not in investment points. I'm ahead. I put ahead. So I already know that if they call this place set apart from out of the light belt, and they're restricted from light pollution, to keep it the world's largest dark sky sanctuary, 2.5 million acres, set apart out of the light belt, protected, restricted from further light pollution, you ain't coming out here. You already had to have a spot out here. So you better get your spot out here soon, you guys. That's a huge billboard for this potential business that I'm doing. I'm doing moonshine cabins, guys. Anybody want to get in on a Apple computers here? Investment, remember, ahead of time? No, Tracy, I'm already invested in oranges in Florida. Okay, you weren't listening to what I said. Never mind. I don't want to invest in any fruit stock. Okay. All right. Never mind, guys. Let me tell you, you could do whatever you want. You could do rustic out here, something very modern. I'm looking for somebody to come out here and do what I'm doing. You better get the hell away from, I'm going to use that word, and please don't be offended. It's just no knowledge is all it is. What in the hell are you doing in this place, in this water map area that I've shown you? The potential of this tidal shift, and you can't live, you can only be, and I'm not saying I'm homeless, but you can only be homeless in 2 states in this country. That's right. You can't put a piece of newspaper over your head and lay on the ground, or no. And I'm not saying, because it's about restrictive. It's about restrictive, about them coming after you because of what you're doing. I run them out of here. I don't let them do that to these people in this town. I live here. I don't let people dookie in my backyard. I don't drop deuces in my backyard, and I won't let anybody else do it under I've never bought land anywhere. I don't even feel like I need to own this land per se, but if I'm going to set up shop, nobody's going to be dropping, Klingons, whatever. Because I want the people to have the same ability that I have out here. Now, if you have a little bit of money, it doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost that much. You can go by the system out here, but you can build it all yourself too. The permitting is very cheap. The taxes are I'm not into taxes. Taxation illegal again. They threw tea in the harbor over 3%. Look at how much we get taxed, income, state, federal, all this taxed over. You go to get phone bill taxed, gas tax over tax over. This is stinking ridiculous. Get away from this system. Get out of it. Find a place that you can actually afford that's not high burden taxes. What if they raise everybody's taxes and you can't pay your taxes? Then they're going to come take it from you. Don't get over yourself, debt to ratio. Make sure you're in if this inflation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to eat a lot of people up. You understand their burden of tax could get them. Does that make sense? Anybody do? And I'm not trying to be some kind of economic advisor. I'm trying to make you understand what it is you are about to go up against. This great taking and everything they're about ready to do. This is all in play, brothers and sisters. This is all, you know what I'm saying? It's all going by their script. So they've got these people in the state, county, these NGOs, all these other people working to get out of that system. Get out of that system. Get out of Medford's a nice place. It's beautiful. Dig that. I love Medford's so beautiful. Trees, and I know Medford's got his issues. I don't care. Every place got his issues. Oregon has his issues too, but whatever. Go somewhere where they won't tell you what to do. And if they tell you what to do, tell them no. I'll take you to trial. I'll see you at the box. Moulin Lave. Come and take it. And if all you get your buddies around, they won't do that. Bud Light the system. I don't want to hear about Bubbles and Dylan and all that. Enough with it. You spend your dollars. You vote with your dollars. Listen to me. You vote with your dollars. See how I vote? System so that they can't raise my power bill. I've already brought up the funds to do it myself. Now, people have way more expense, but I do it by the minimal. I'm doing this by the skin of my brow, but it works. I power this system. Yeah, I'm a little dark because I'm in a 9.5 foot tall cabin and my lights are up there. So find a place where you will not be restricted. And if you do, come to a place where you actually have a voice. I'm the law in this town. I told that. Go look at my channel. They took part 2 down because I audit the police officers out here. I stand up for you in this town, whether you know it or not. I stood up for the whole town during the COVID. I fought the mayor and the elected sheriff during the COVID in this town. Yes, I did. I stood up against OSHA. I held protests right across from the police department. I ain't afraid of the cops. I ain't afraid of the government. I have no fear. He said, fear no man that can take your flesh. Only he who can take your soul. That is my fear. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, brothers and sisters. You live by the sword, you die by, you go by the law, judge that shall be judged. You will be judged by the law you go by. And they hung him on a tree for not going by the law. Are you going by the law? Bootlicker? Are you a bootlicker? Capital letter law, straw man. Are you paying the man for your capital letter to that corporate debt slave called, you straw man in capital letters on your birth, social. Yeah, remember a $1 million credit card issued in your name? Yeah, it's your credit card. The first credit card ever issued in your name. It's called your social security card. It's in capital letters. It's a literal blood case, A, B type. It's a literal blood contract between your doctor, your mom, your dad. I did it to my son. Stupid, ignorant me. Blood contract. Like he pricked the heel, he bruised the heel, right? Came back, but he's promised he will crush the serpent with the head of that heel, brothers and sisters, right? With that heel, right? But no, a blood contract. Organic law, brothers and sisters. Natural, remember? This God-given Fourth Amendment, all these rights of this federal government was to uphold the rights. They're not here to make, they are not here to make laws. They are here to uphold your God-given one nation under God inalienable rights of the land. And you don't even have to be have citizenship to have rights in this country. Hallelujah, under the Constitution of the United States that's supposed to protect your inalienable, natural, God-given rights, not some stupid straw man. That's not you. Are you capital letter law? Capital letter law, man? All capital letters? That's your straw man. That's what, check out of that system, please, brothers and sisters. You can check out of the system. You can vote with your dollar. You can stand against these officers. Go look at my videos that I've done. They still have the second one up on TikTok. The channel's frozen. FOR light. Part 1 is on this video channel, me auditing the police officers, your ability to audit them, they're public officials, while in the capacity of serving the public, they have no right to just like you have no right to privacy in public. Get that camera out of my face. Get out of here. You have no right to expectation in public privacy. Are you out of your mind? I can film anything I want. Get there, you can't film me. I don't care if you're a jackboot thug cop. I don't care who you are. You're a capital letter servant. You're a thug. Listen, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you right now, there is not one good cop in America. I know I used to be one. I know this law. I used to serve this system, throw people and confine them into a rape cage. I did it. I was one of those jackboot thugs. I was a veteran and a military police as well. So I understand what these jackboot thugs have done because I have done it myself. So there's not one good cop in America, because until they stop enforcing this capital letter law, not one of them is a good officer, because they said, what is the worst thing, if there ever was a thing, which is not anymore and never really was since the capital, but what is the worst thing to a good cop? A bad cop makes a good cop look bad, right? They're all bad cops. If any of them cared about what they did during the COVID, they would have said, hey, we flattened the curve. What do you mean? The last time you tried this crap, we lost 2 to 3 million small businesses, middle-class businesses in America. That's right. Shutter their doors and never remember the flatten the curve crap. We're going to flatten the curve. 2 to 3 million employing not 100, 1,000, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, a dozen middle-class people. That's the backbone in this country was erased. These cops, see, why I fought with my cops and my governor is I said, bull crap. Don't you remember the Bundy standoff in Nevada? The elected sheriff came in and ran the feds out of there. No, they're all absolutely jackboot thug tyrants. So if you think there's good cops, time to leave, you jackboot thug licker. You let them extort under your capital letter law name. Remember the Bundy standoff? Remember the Bundy standoff? Listen to me. Remember they wouldn't listen to me either. They wouldn't listen to me either. You just went in one ear and out the other, but it didn't stop me. No, it didn't. I stood for this community when the law enforcement officer stood down, because I said, don't you remember? I protest this. I had other people join me. I held rallies. I told you we had protests across from the police department trying to get their attention during the COVID. Because I reminded the elected sheriff, because I have been a law enforcement officer, that you're elected, not some deputy public servant, but you're elected. Sheriff Taylor, you're such a piece of crap. Get over to my house and talk to me. They watch these videos. Brothers and sisters, they watch these live streams. I call them on it in my live stream video. You don't think so? I tell the cop, I reported a murder to you and you didn't do it. I know, Tracy, we watch your videos. Get out here, Sheriff Taylor, you spineless wonder. I couldn't get you. I stood up to this elected sheriff during the COVID, brothers and sisters. I stood up to this elected sheriff to try to I reminded these sheriffs, not any of these other deputies, one, not some corporate DOD, NSA, FBI, CIA. Those are all corporate entities. I'm talking about an elected official that actually has authority in this land, literal authority over a man. These federal corporate, all this CIA, DOD, they're a corporation. Part of your jackboot thug capital letter law. If you let them extort you under that man in the black robe, right? Right? Then you are being extorted under that capital letter Black's law. What do you think he wears a black robe? You go through the galley. That's all, yeah, maritime law. If you knew your laws and you live by the law, you will be judged by the law you go by. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. That is that agape, the division. You understand? So I told this elected sheriff out here that he needs to come out when, not the first time they flatten the curve, because try to remember, 2 to 3 million small businesses that employ anywhere from 2 to a dozen or more, not a big box chain, the old brick and mortar, the Target that the bug didn't get in, the Walmart, the bigger bug didn't get in there, but you got to shut your business down. You got a little jazzercise business, little taekwondo, or, any of these small business, little studio, shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Food, paper, clamshells, everything, curbside service. Most of these businesses could not compete. Do you understand? Most of these businesses could not compete. They couldn't with these corporations. This state. Yeah, you had your talking heads with your Thump and his respirators and Dr. Falsey, the number one paid government official. Dr. Falsey, number one paid government official. All there, but it was the state that did it. Remember, I said I was going after Stinky Kate Brown, the governor. I was fighting with the governor. Yeah, my governor, I was fighting with the police. These deputies, I said, get out of my way. You don't hold any authority over me. You're just a public servant. Move out of the way. I need the elected sheriff, and I need him to come out. Don't you remember the Bundy standoff where they ran off the feds? That's any one of them. DOD, NSA, FBI, CIA. I don't care what it is. Get out of here. And they had to leave. This is what I reminded this elected sheriff, that he has this authority, and told him to stand when OSHA comes. When OSHA comes, see, I stand for you out here. Do you imagine? You don't think I stand for your rights out here? I stood to the governor. I stood up against the man who could throw me in Guantanamo Bay. People have told me, you're going to get arrested, Tracy. This is a national emergency. They just declared this is Tracy, you got to stand down on this one. This isn't the one to fight. This is real. This is real. We're all going to die. Do you understand? So I told this elected sheriff, have you not forgotten during the Bundy standoff, they ran the feds? I want you to come in here when OSHA comes in, not the first time to flatten the curve, but the second time. Stand with these businesses. These business owners are scared out of their mind. They're losing money. They don't want to lose their business. They want to try to stay open, but this is killing them. Please stand with these businesses. When OSHA comes, tell them to get the flock out of Dodge. And move out and draw fire. Not in this little township, because this ain't even a town. It's a township. This is that around and find out kind of town. It takes 4 to 5 years here before you will be accepted. Be accepted as a local. Oh, no. I don't care what you got to be out here 4 or 5 years before you're a local out in this town. They don't just let people come. I told you, we don't even have a flashing light out in this town. We're out of the light belt. Things go bump in the dark out here all the time. Yes, they do. You drive down the wrong driveway and in the night it'll eat. In the day, they don't care. That's what I told the sheriff down here. You're going to get that guy in the back, in that Oscar hole in your head disease. If he goes on one more property, you're going to get he's a good guy. He's not fining anybody yet. He's saying, hey, you got to fix this. Your yard's trashy. Your neighbors are complaining there's trash. People take advantage of their freedoms, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they do. And so these, whatever, but they can't do that out here. They drive the little white trucks. They did it the first time. Yeah, they went down the main strip and they got it cleaned up because people were taking advantage. That's fine. I understand. People shouldn't just be filthy pigsties. That's different. We're out here in the desert. Stuff blows around and you can get your neighbors, trash 10 miles down the road in yours if you got one of those yards. So anyways, he cleaned it up. But the minute he pulled off the side of the thing, yep, he started lobbing metal at these. All of a sudden, the truck had holes in it. So that's why I called the sheriff and told them, you better stop sending this guy around. The only legal way you can actually contact people is via their address. Oh, you can look at the satellite imagery. Yeah, we know your nanny state and all of these. That's everybody. Okay, guys, you can't hide from. They know everything you're doing. I don't care if you're way on the 100 miles in the woods with a little tiny, they know what you're doing. No, don't be foolish, please. Everything. God's been watching everything you do since you were born anyway. So yes, that's right. They know what you're doing. But anyways, out here is, again, I said, you cannot, this guy is going on people's property, and that is against the Fourth Amendment. I circulated this Fourth Amendment in the chapters that you can deem them an intruder and use your Second Amendment if necessary, if you think they're going to cause harm to your persons, papers, effects, your house, your home, anybody with it. That's all Fourth Amendment, brothers and sisters. That's all covered. Anybody comes on your property, you have to give them a warning, tell them to leave. People are going to wander, but they don't leave. You can deem them an intruder, and as long as they get the hole in the front and not the back, that's what I said to the county. You're about ready to get, this guy's going to, and you're going to get sued because he's entering people's properties, and you can only contact people by mail. Look at this. I've already circulated this in this town, and everybody knows this. I work for this town. I'm the law in this town. That's what I said the last time I got pulled over. I did. There were 8 people there who witnessed me. Remember Tom? This is the sheriff, the sergeant out here. Remember Tom during the COVID when you wouldn't stand up for these businesses and I did? Quit making me out to be the bad guy. Quit harassing me, Tom. I'm not the bad guy in this town. I'm the law in this town. Remember that. That's the last thing I said to the sergeant, the guy in charge out here. I told them that I'm the law, because they stood down during the COVID and they wouldn't protect these businesses, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I asked and it didn't work. Then I made a meme. Breaking news, local sheriff in cooperation with small town business runs off OSHA. I made a meme, brothers and sisters, and everybody in this town, because it's so small, talky, they thought it was a real, and it spread like wildfire. It did. It spread like wildfire. They thought that the sheriff's office was actually standing up with the businesses, and everybody got excited. Come to find out, that was just a meme. It wasn't true. I lied. It's called a meme. Breaking news, it's still up on the community page if you want to look at it. I can't believe they leave it on there. They threw me off the page, on and off the internet. I got kicked for doing a lot. I was the meme master, brothers and sisters. During the COVID, I was the meme master. So I'm going to have to break down and tell you I have 2 memes, and I'll go back to the story. Probably my greatest meme during the COVID. I didn't do this on purpose. It just came out that way by the glory of God. My meme said, how much flu could a flu stop shop if a flu shot could stop flu? Remember that? How much flu could a flu shot stop if a flu shot could stop flu? And I had this, the hypodermic needle. And then it, remember the very next year, did you guys hear about that guy out? We have an airport. We have 2 airports out here. Did you guys hear about that guy out here? They were jumping out of airplanes. He jumped out of his airplane. He landed, his chute didn't open up and he landed on the ground. He died of COVID. Do you guys remember that? Did you hear about that out here? He jumped out of the airplane, his chute didn't up. He slammed it into the ground. He died of COVID. Remember that? Remember what they were doing with all that? 4 cases of flu the next year. The flu just disappeared. I didn't do that on purpose, brothers. That just I was just a meme. I just made up I just went with it, right? Sometimes something comes to your brain. How much flu could a flu shot stop if a flu shot could stop flu? And we only had 4 cases the next year. I didn't do it on purpose, brothers and sisters. How about that for the meme master? I was the meme master. I already got kicked off the internet so many times and stuff. I had so much. I almost had to literally go Old Testament and then try. No, let the law take care. Let vengeance be mine. You're going to end up. Yeah, you pulled the wrong. I set you up. See all this evidence before you fell into my trap, and now you don't turn my internet back on. You're going to be one behind bars. You just violated my rights, and I just set you up. You bias. So anyways, but I got back on the internet, and but breaking news, right? Breaking news, small town sheriff in cooperation with small business runs off OSHA. They were pissed, guys. They were freaking pissed at me out here because what it did is it made them have to make a response. See, it already held protests across from the police station trying to get their attention. We want you to stand with the business. I was working with the businesses in this town, brothers and sisters. They knew I had prior law enforcement. We went over the stuff. They kind of leaned on me and said, well, Tracy, what's going on in this situation? I said, look, I don't care. This is a national emergency. I don't understand that. And, when you worry about the police, they're not even doing anything. So they're not. Actually, the only Kathy's one of the farmhouse owners. We tried to get Dorothy. She had her liquor license. I tried to get every business out here. We don't have that many to stand up and say, guys, if we all stand up together, we can do this. It was one place that stood up, which was the farmhouse. The owner was Kathy, and she leaned on me and I said, look, Kathy, the only thing nobody's going to go to jail. If we stand up in front of these business, if the sheriff doesn't come out, OSHA, we don't physically touch them, but we make a stink and we use our, voice like Noah. We can't bang on the rock, right? Or Moses, excuse me, twice. We need to use our voice. You know what I'm saying? So I told Kathy, I said, look, Kathy, all they can do is issue a notice of appearance. You will not go to jail. If not, I'll step in, I'll beat the crap out of a cop or whatever to keep you out, whatever, to defend. I'm telling you, I'll be thrown in jail myself. If they try to touch you and apprehend you in any way, I will beat the snot out of them. I don't care if they're armed or not, Kathy. You have my word. I'm not living in fear. I'm telling you this. All they can do is issue you a notice to appear in front of a judge. Yeah, it might have a fine attached to it, but don't fear that. Take him to trial. It's just a threat. Okay. And so she decided to stand up, brothers and sisters, and keep her business open. That is bigger huevos than most of you men that stood down were the silent majority during the COVID. This hardcore woman kept her business open. One of the few in America that did this, brothers and sisters. Okay. And keep in mind, we weren't under lockdown. Because we were out here in the country, we had no problems until we did this. Then they locked us down a week later. People were pretty pissed at me after that. But what we did is because when I put my meme up online, breaking news, small town sheriff in cooperation with small business runs off OSHA, and they thought the people in the town thought it was true. They were calling the sheriffs and going, oh yeah. And they were like, no, we haven't made a decision on what we're going to do. And so that forced them to drive an hour and a half to the southern portion of the county to make a ruling on whether they were going to stand with Kathy against OSHA as the elected sheriff, as they were reminded that during the Bundy standoff, they had the authority to tell OSHA to leave. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? So I said, Kathy, don't worry about it. When they show up, if we don't get the sheriff show up that day, I'll stand in. So we had a lot of people there that day, you know what I'm saying? And I stood up, brothers and sisters. When OSHA stepped out, I said, you're a tyrant. We don't want you here. You take one plate from this is a township. We're not even a town. You shut down 2-3 to small business. This ain't the first time. You're coming back out here again to flatten the curve. We don't want to hear it. Go away. You're not welcome here. If you take one plate from this small township business, you understand? You're hurting this town. Leave now. You're a tyrant. Get back in your car, and I'm telling you to leave. I'm not going to physically touch you, but get back. And ma'am, get back in your vehicle. You're a tyrant too. I don't want to hear it. You know what? History is going to be made today, brothers and sisters. This is what I told them. I told this gentleman, I said, you know what? History is going to be made today, and you're going to decide what side of history you're being written on. He says, I know what side of history I'm being written on. I said, that's fine. I said, but I'm going to stand against you. I said, I support rights. I'm a veteran. And at this point in time, brothers and sisters, I stood down. I took a knee. Listen to what I did. I took a knee. I stood down. I got in front of the OSHA officer and I got close enough to him to get down on my knee. Hear me out. And I looked him up. So he looked like he's got authority over me, right? Because I'm down on one knee and I'm looking up at him. And I point up to the flag because Kathy had an American flag and a Trump flag. I don't support Trump. But anyways, I looked up at the flag and I told him, I said, you see that American flag up there, sir? I said, I'm a veteran. I said, we go over and we do horrible things and kill women and children in other countries so people can have freedom. And I said, I have fought and, and defended the rights of this country so that people could have these supposed freedoms. And you're coming in here and taking these freedoms, sir. I and my family, I don't know how long it's been, sir, since Colin Kaepernick took a knee. And then he's like, he now realizes why I'm on my knee. I said, I support Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee. And everybody in the crowd is kind of like, oh, you heard this noise, like, what? And I said, have you forgotten what veterans like myself and others go do in other countries and do right here in America to our own citizens so people could have this freedom? I said, I support Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee. And my family thinks I'm crazy because they don't understand that I'm a veteran. But, sir, I don't have pride. Pride is a sin. I said, because you know what happens? I said, if you make me salute the flag and I put my hand over my heart and I'm on one knee and I stood up because I got close. I already knew where I was going with this way ahead of time. I stood up and I said, you know what? I said, if you make me salute the flag, guess what comes next? Bam! And I stuck my hand about this far from his face. Bam! I said, I fought for people to have freedom of choice. If Colin Kaepernick wants to take a knee, he can take a knee. If he wants to stand up, he can stand up. I don't agree with his platform or what he's doing, but that's his choice. Freedom of choice is why we kill women and children in other countries and fighting age men so people would have choice in this country. Bam! No, I'm not counterfeit. That's the truth. See, Devin, you're the freaking problem. You forget that women and children lose their life. I think you should be able to burn a flag. It's just a stupid flag. It's a flag. You give your allegiance to some stupid piece of paper or a stupid piece of cloth, then go vote for your thumb and pledge your allegiance to the flag. Go buy his Bible, you idiot. Get out of here. I don't keep company with vipers. You knew I was a snake before you let me in. So I'm tired of this idiocracy. It's just a stupid flag. Who do you give your allegiance to? God or some flag or some government? You can burn a flag all you want. Are you out of your minds? Colin Kaepernick can make a knee. What are you going to do? Make me salute the flag? Yeah, boom. What comes next? Yeah, Devin, you don't believe in freedom of choice. You believe in pride and bowing down to the system. You have pride and you're the problem with this country. You know that? They don't care about you. Your buddy spent $8.8 trillion. Your phallic Satan worshiper Thump, who never said creepy Trump, never once. America's an apostasy, brothers and sisters. We are against the New Testament. He said, do not avenge yourself. Let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. So any military base outside our borders isn't against the New Testament. So pound sand, leave. I don't care. You have pride. You have pride. So go. Well, there's pride is a sin. That's what Most High was, Satan, they were best buddies. He knew everything, but he tried to rise above because of pride. It was the one sin, and good luck putting that on a rainbow flag. Remember the promise of the rainbow? Lot, get your wife. I've seen enough. Do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. I'm bringing the fire. Get them out of Dodge. Remember? I'm bringing the fire. Man, woman, one race, the human race. Stop acting like an idiot. Red, blue. Look at guys. Watch. No, look. No bias. Watch. I see this. See how old I am? See, I'm not that old. If I shave my beard, but I'm old enough to remember this country where if somebody was a Democrat or a Republican or blood buchan or whatever, donkey or the elephant, getting tired of the donkey and the elephant. Stock up on the lamb, brothers and sisters. Stock up on the lamb. Okay. Right, left, Democrat, Republican, they're all related to the Queen and they're all mass murders. Every president is a mass murder and is control. I know, I've been a veteran. They're the commander-in-chief of all the military services. So they are ahead of all the murder. If you vote for either one of these, I rebuke you. Please leave now. Seriously, go. You can say all you want, but I rebuke you. I rebuke you. You are not going by this testament. The queen. There's never been a president that wasn't related to the purple. You mix red and blue, what do you get? Purple. Related. Not one of them. Not Kennedy, not Reagan, not what. They're all related to the queen. You know what I'm saying? You understand? So listen to what I'm trying to explain to you. Brothers and sisters, we go outside our borders. That is against the New Testament. If you believe that, then you're eye for an eye. I don't want you in here. I don't keep company with vipers. He said, you do the works of your father, the devil. That's what he told the Pharisees. And that is that old law. Do you understand? That's that old law. We should not have one military. Now, if we want to bring home all our military services, shut down our bases and bring them home, then we wouldn't have a border problem, would we? You were going to get the greatest wall ever, but you ended up getting the greatest jab, correct? Right? You got boosted. It's obvious that many of them people got, you can tell by their fruit, by their responses, they're just comfortably numb, 5 boosters. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Anyways, number one selling drug dealer. Okay, let's go over this. Who is the biggest drug dealer on the planet ever? Way bigger than Pablo, Escobar, all these, the cartel, Al Capone with running out. Who's the biggest drug dealer? There's one man that is the biggest drug dealer on the planet. Hands down. He created that. He solicited to create that. He got trillions of dollars to create that drug. So who is that person? There's one man. He's a man. He says he can't sin, by the way. But anyways, that one man is the largest drug dealer because there's a single selling. No, it's not Bill Gates. He didn't create it. So why does everybody always say that answer? What is that? No, who created it? Who is the king of the jab? Solicited the American public for $2.2 trillion, declared a national emergency using the Emergency Authorization Use Act. Do you have any of these details? Declared in 50 states. So Pfizer is the number one selling. It's more than any real estate deal. Who created that jab? So who's the biggest drug dealer on the planet? Pushed more drugs to anywhere in the world. The commander-in-chief of the 45th Pretendency. Donald Trump is the largest drug dealer ever in the history of mankind. He far surpasses any other drug dealer. You could probably take all the drugs that were ever sold in the world. This war on drugs, you can thank Ronald Reagan for your SWAT, Bearcats, and remember the war on drugs they just rescheduled cannabis, brothers and sisters. This is stupid. This is an idiocracy. This is a hypocrisy. This nation is an apostasy to the right of the testament that we are under. So I rebuke the biggest drug dealer on the planet, the guy that dropped 3 steel buildings using Tesla tech with 2 CGI airplanes that obviously there's some blips in those, and jet fuel and steel, that doesn't add up. Yeah, Tesla tech. Mr. 45 is the dancing Israelis. I now have the tallest building in the world. I now have no, he's not. No, he's not. Well, yeah, he is. Okay, he is. He's part of it, though. Why, though? Okay, but no, he is. Because remember, he's the one who brought you the Alpha, India, Delta, Sierra. Remember that virus? Remember that one? Remember, you're going to put your thing in there and you're going to die. That whole virus, auto immunity. Same guy is, that's right. Remember? Gain of function research. So we got Mr. O Vomit in charge too. No, Mr. O Trump and Mr. O Biden. They're all in on it. Remember Ukraine, China, Canada. Yep. That's the man that dropped 3 steel buildings using Tesla tech with 2 airplanes, using that, generated image and then a little bit of might. Hey, kind of feeling a little thermal, hot in here. Sorry, I got the wood stove going. So anyways, people aren't going to understand this, and that's okay. I'm just here. Remember, it was just a documentation. I'm only documenting here. I'm only documenting. I should be doing other things right now, but whatever. All glory to the Father. I've got about 10 more minutes. I'm going to get out of here. Look, guys, all this man who has this tech, that's everything you're seeing flying around. There's no such thing as aliens or UFOs, none of that stuff. Stop it. There's no such thing as that. Leave. No such thing as space. Leave. God doesn't love everybody. Leave. You can't just go to church on Sunday. Leave. Can't go to celebrate your birth. Leave. You're a Satanist if you celebrate any birth or allow birth dates to go on. You're an apostate. You're an apostasy to the New Testament if you support MAGA death. That's right, 1,003 military bases in over 180 countries. That isn't against the New Testament. So I rebuke anybody who supports this anymore. You guys, we have to learn from our mistakes. I was a veteran. I was a police officer. You don't think I feel guilty for serving the system? Yes, I do. That's why I stand up to it now. That's why I risk and martyr my own life. So remember, if you make me put my hand over my heart, guess what comes next? Freedom of choice, brothers and sisters. They take that away. People, you have a choice to serve two masters, right? Can't serve mammon and God. So be careful with your days on this earth, because you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Judge, lest you'll be judged. You'll be judged by the law you go by. Are you willing to stand against the law? He said, conform to my image, endure to the end to be saved. Are you more worried of taking some lead by that jackboot clown wearing a clown suit trying to extort your capital letter law straw man? Would you be willing to lose this meat? Now, careful, brothers and sisters, because we're not under that covenant. He covered the flesh, so be careful. But which law are you going by? You live by the law that you will be judged by the law that you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve mammon and God. So if you're not willing to spiritually, spiritual death, give up this, this flesh, spiritual. So what if I get some lead in me? That's the least of my worries. I know that he said, Tracy, you are a police officer. You know he's extorting, these cops are extorting people for capital letter law. They're taking their bond money from them and their treasury. They sold that out, their labor. They sold that through Social Security Administration, through your treasury and your bond, your labor, your slave. And they're extorting that through that maritime law with that man in the black robe who's trying to get you to say, hey, are you this capital letter person? You're like, yep. And then they take from that bond. That's what's going on. So that's why there's not one good cop in America. I don't care if they're ignorant. They're still extorting people. I know I did it myself. Guilty. So at least if I did it, I won't keep making the same mistake and let people make mistakes. Just like I reminded the sheriff out here, elected, you can run OSHA off out of here. You have more authority than them. Tell them to leave. But if you don't know the law, you don't. Agape, Shem, love is the law to me. Who do you love? Who's your mark? Who's your character? What are you going after? So because he made me have this knowledge, maybe you can give the thug jackboot and think he's a good cop, but he's still stealing your Social Security money, car, bond, trade, all that money is 1 million, not a trillion, 1 million or 2, depending on the date that you were born. Is between $1 and $2 million. It is you're a debt slave. That's your treasury. So the biggest drug dealer on the planet, Donald Trump, and the biggest socialist ever in the history of mankind at this point until at $1 trillion every 100 days. This is he has to smash down on the gas pedal more. That's all I told her. I was warned about this stupid Trump idiot. Oh, I'm going to audit the Fed. The economy's in a bubble. You have to smash down on the gas pedal or the system implodes. Fractional reserve. I'm not talking to idiots right now. I'm talking to people who have some kind of economic understanding on how they are a short-term borrower and a long-term lender. That's called fiat fractional reserve lending. Okay. That's the way the whole system's set up. They don't lend out more money, put out more money, because they always got to cover what's being. Yep, that's right. It's not, you can't sustain this any longer. So as of the 45th pretendant of this divided States of America, He spent $8.8 trillion more than Mr. Obama did. Was that 214 years, 43 presidents rack up $9 trillion worth of debt. Yep, all the presidents combined in over 200 years, it took them to get to 9 trillion. And Mr. 44, Mr. Trump, I mean, Mr. Biden, I mean, Mr. Barry, Mr. Obama, right? He more than doubled in 8 years. 8 years it took him, he spent $10 trillion with his quantitative easing and all this bailouts and all this crap that he did. He spent more than all the presidents that ever spent him in 2 terms. So when Mr. Thump comes in, you know he has to smash down on I'm going to audit the Fed, the Hillary, put Hillary in prison, and I'm going to build the greatest wall. It was all a bunch of nonsense. Instead, he blew Powell, remember? He went down there and blew his bubble for 3.5 years. It created the largest expansion of debt ever in the history of the United States of America. The economy's never going to go down, greatest economy ever. Bull crap. That was all pumped. It's called emergency monetary policy. Look at the Fed's balance sheet. You'll see that they never stopped pumping the system since back in 2008. So he had created, when he took office, the greatest economy ever using emergency monetary policy. That's why 3.5 years. Oh my God, honey, look, we got 300,000 here. We better be careful too. Oh my God, honey, we're almost millionaires. Where do you want to go? Where do we go on our honeymoon? Let's make some reservations. Let's go on a cruise. We're millionaires, right? 3.5 years, 2.5 weeks inflated all those 3.5 years of gains. Look at this. What a scam artist. He pumped the economy, created the largest expansion of debt using emergency monetary policy, called it the greatest economy ever, and it gave back all the 3.5 years of gains in 2.5 weeks. Lock the dude up. He's going to prison or I'm going to prison. One of us are going to go to prison. How about that? It's either going to be me or him, because I'm going to keep exposing him. And they probably don't like it, and I don't care. Come use your NDAA against me. I know you don't even need any kind of Mr. 44. Put that into office. Patriot Act, most unpatriot thing ever. Mr. NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, allows them to, an intern American citizen, arrest you, indefinitely detain you without contacting your family, and they don't need cause. Indefinite detention, NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. They can come pick you or me up without cause. Come on, Mulan Labe. Either he's going to prison or I'm going to prison. One of us are going to prison. And I'll tell you what, if I have my way, I will be the 47th pretendant of this here divided states, and I'll bring home our militaries, all of them. And I'll put him and Hillary in prison. Yeah, I will. Both of them. And I will put Jerome Powell in prison. I will shut the Fed down. I won't audit it. It's central banks. I'll just shut them down. JP Chase, you too. Oh, that's how Tesla got whacked, Tracy. Be careful. That's how Mr. Morgan didn't like Mr. T. I am Tracy, Mr. T, whether you like it or not. Come on. One of us are going to go, because I'm going to keep exposing this heresy. A man who decorates his house with the Nimrod, Satan, son, orgy, marinated sex biscuit. Catholicism. He don't even believe in the Hamashiach. He's a king of Israel. He's selling you Bibles with the Pledge of Allegiance. Couldn't be more blasphemous than anybody. We could put him in prison just on the fact that he said he was going to put Hillary in prison. Remember? He was going to lock her up. Remember the whole campaign? Sleepy Joe. Oh, what happened to Creepy? Oh, because you've had your thingy and his thingy, huh? And you've both been to the island. Yes, your phone was pinged to the island and then back to your phallic tower, Mr. Thump. Gee. Yeah, Mr. Biden Stein, right? No, he's not a zombie. He's not sleepy. He's creepy. Thump is against him, right? No, Thump is with him. Do you have any idea what Catholicism is? Catholicism is Satanism combined with Christianity. The deadly head wound that was healed. You don't know anything about Catholicism, obviously. The orgy marinated sex Jesus biscuit ritual, communion, kill somebody after marinating them for a week and eat them. They don't even need to put anything on him. He's marinated. If you call him the king of the Saturnalia, it's the orgy sex ritual from the Roman era. of the birth of their sun god, Donald Trump. I mean, Apollyon. Well, he's got his house decorated with it, so might as well just call him Donald Trump, because they both have a Nimrod 58-story tower, correct? Satan had a 58-story Nimrod tower, the one that he birthed his birth date when God tells us not to celebrate birth, but to celebrate death. The only reason why Catholicism is actually, because Catholicism is Satanism, Baal in the Grove, rebranded. The deadly head wound that was healed, remember they had outlawed what you think Catholicism is, it's Satanism. Satanism is eating rituals, burning people, their flesh, burnt flesh, like he burnt lamb, right? Burnt flesh was sacrifice, sacrament of the Mass. Masse, M-A-S-S-E, is the eating of human flesh. That's what these pagan Catholicism worship. They eat their orgy sex king because they marinated this peasant. This peasant got to be a king. They took one of the poorest people and they let him be a king for a week, brothers and sisters. They would sacrifice him in a week, but they would let him marinate himself. It was a man on man, man on beast, beast on woman, woman on man. It was an orgy. It was a ritual. It was a festival. They ate everything, the finest, wines and veals and all the finest meat. And they just stewed this guy. For a whole week, he just bathed himself in satanic sex rituals and alcohol. It was an orgy. Don't fool yourself. The Franks, they rebranded this 7-day ritual as Mardi Gras. Remember, show us your, let me see your beads and all that. It's the same orgy festival, but it's leading up to Donald Trump's birthday. I mean, Nimrod's birthday. Same phallics. That's actually not Trump's date of birth, but it is Mithra, Jesus. Christmas Jesus, orgy, sex, biscuit, Catholic Jesus. Eat my body, cracker, hocus pocus. This turns this body, your body of Christ are sons of God, brothers, your sisters, and your mother, not aliens, fallen angels, but sons of God. Your brothers and your sister and your mother are those who do the will of the Father. I'm not going into the whole lesson, but this orgy marinated, sex ritual where he got to sleep with all the finest sheep and lay with all the finest men and drink all the finest wine. After a whole week, they would burn him in fire and eat him. So that's what Catholicism is. Yeah, just say it, Iceman. It's the marinated orgy sex Jesus biscuit ritual. Catholicism, where they communicate. They believe they can open up portholes and communicate to their ancestors for fortunes. That's called demonic, remember? To distribute fortunes to others is called demonic. So what God had said through his two pontiffs, who said, we're not doing these rituals anymore, orgy sex rituals, we're outlawing this tradition. You call it Christmas, but it's Baal in the Grove, fire, Baal, sun god, remember, Apollyon, and grove, tree worship, Krampus, Christmas. Krampus ate his kids, Masse, eat the flesh, eat the human flesh. That's what Christmas is. It's a perversion of the Feast of the Yule. It's the same sex ritual to the birth of the king. And God tells us, do not celebrate birth. So you couldn't be any more vain than to celebrate the birth of Christ on the birth of Satan. That's why I rebuked Donald Trump, because his house is decorated with that. And then he has 58 stories. It's the same phallic tower, 58 stories. He lives on a 66. Could you be any more blasphemous, guys? Think about this. A 58-story building with a 66 Trump penthouse tower. Orgy, sex ritual, phallic tower, Nimrod's birth. After 7 days, they would sacrifice the flesh and burn him and eat him. The Catholics are trying to convince you that this cracker is the body of Christ. He said eat his body, but then they would not, that would be your brothers and your sister and your mother. They've got you twisted, perverted, frowarded, and fooled, thinking that this sex ritual king, because they called him the king of the Saturn, it was Saturnalia. The Saturn, they prayed to the sun gods, Kronos. Well, that used to let's not go there. They prayed to the Kronos because it was the Satan, a representation of time, marker. Satan or Saturn represents the time marker because it has its slowest rotation around or elliptical orbit. Okay, either model, I don't care, but it That's why they prayed to Saturn to try to slow the sun, because they thought the sun was dying. They had just pure ignorance, brothers and sisters. They didn't know. They thought there was a goddess in heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the pole star. They were idiots. They literally thought those stars up there were like gods, guys. So please, Baal in the Grove is the same crap today as Christmas. That's why George Washington banned Christmas in America, because it's an orgy pagan ritual. Did he just say they banned Christmas in America? Yes, over 300 years ago, you will not see George Washington with the Christmas tree in the house. It was illegal. They would fine you and throw you in jail if you celebrate any of this Christmas, holidays, Yule wheel, throw the ewe on through Yule log. Ewe is a baby. You baby lamb. Throw the baby lamb. They're talking about throwing Christ, brothers and sisters, on the fire. That's a representation. It's blasphemy. You as a baby. Throw the Yule log on the log, the wreath, the wheel, the fire wheel. It's the same pagan ritual. It's fire, sun gods, Apollyon, the birth on December 25th, not Christ. Jesus was born when the sheep were in the pasture and in Jerusalem, because that's where that's talking about, Israel. The sheep go up in the month of October, November, and December. So there's no way in hell, just no knowledge. That's the abyss, no knowledge. There's no way in the TARDIS, there's no way in the abyss that Christ was born on December 25th. That is 100% the birth of Nimrod. They celebrate it for a week every year. There's no dispute that he was born on December 25th. There's no disputing that. That Nimrod, Mithra, Apollyon, Satan, I don't care what the hell you want to call him. Call him Donald McNugget McThump, but that's not truly the Antichrist. His houses, his building, his montage is decorated with a coming. 88. 88 is the Antichrist. It's the seventh king that will be revealed as the eighth king. It's in the scripture, brothers and sisters. People are too ignorant to find it. They think Trump's the Antichrist. They think Obama's the Antichrist. They think the Pope's the Antichrist. They don't know. The seventh king will be revealed as the eighth king. I said he does it by the number. And so do they. By the heavens, as is above the firmament. As is above, so is below. On earth as it is in heaven. They do all this by the stars. So you are right. Why? You are 100% right. Because the beast, the Antichrist system will be not advanced, right? Yes, not artificial. So if you come in here for a minute, and again, you would hopefully, because you've been in here and I know you question things, but you shouldn't have any idea that that's not artificial, correct? Why? We've made this very clear, correct? That's advanced intelligence. There is no such thing as artificial. Bull crap. I don't want to hear. Then time to leave. No, you didn't. I know you didn't. No, you are 100% right. The Antichrist will be an it, and you have it right. So it won't be some kind of alien because it's not advanced. You push that advance, you're going to make people, and I know you're not. I'm just bouncing off your, because I like your response. You're darn right, because it's spirit. We're not under that covenant. Thank you for picking this out. I'm glad you asked questions. Why? We're not under the testament of the old of the flesh. He fulfilled it. The Antichrist will be an it. Neuter gender. That's right. Remember the beast? It's a karak. It's a mark. It's a spiritual 88. It's a spiritual Antichrist that will be revealed when that restrainer is lifted, not a physical. If you think you see a physical AI, then you're probably going to believe in a physical Jesus is coming back to this earth too, huh? And you've been deceived, because that's not what it is. That's not what the word of God, we are not under that covenant. He made a new covenant with his bride, and he has fulfilled the flesh. Correct? There's no such thing as modern day prophecy. Paul, you're an idiot, ignorant fool. You do not know that Christ nailed prophecy to the stake. Look at this ignorant fool in here coming in here calling me a prophet. Prophecy was nailed to the tree, brothers and sisters, that day when Christ was nailed to a tree. You can say in the book of Acts, cursed he who hangeth from the tree, when they took him down from the tree. So there's no such thing as prophecy. That's how much of an idiot Paul is. And that's what an apostasy from the name Paul, because he obviously can make you must go through much tribulation to be with the Father. The apostle Paul prophesied it of many. All the apostles could prophesy, but listen, modern day prophecy, men could lay hands, the prophets could lay hands on people and heal them. There's no such thing as faith healing. All that's all hocus pocus too. Speaking in tongues, all that's hocus pocus. Perverted, twisted, just translation figures that out. But there's no such thing as prophecy. Remember, brothers and sisters, a prophet. So that's why we rebuke the Mormon church. They're a heresy to the Testament. He blotted out the handwriting of ordinances. That was the old. When he fulfilled the law, it was nailed to the tree. From that point on, it was fulfilled. There was no modern day. A prophet could speak to anybody in the language, in a different language, like the beast out of the sea was all the nations out of the sea. A prophet could speak to them. And I'm not talking about tongues or dialectus, a foreign alien dialect to you. So you need a glossary to fit glossa. That's the definition. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking a prophet could speak in one language, and whoever language, they would hear it in their language. You know anybody can do that? You with your stupid idiot response, Paul. You're an ignorant puke. Thank you for getting him out of here. What ignorance is just, there's no such thing as modern day prophecy. There's no much such thing as tongues, speaking in tongues. There's no such thing as healing, faith healing. That was all nailed to the stake, brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? So you see how easily these people will be fooled? If you got a person like Paul who just came in here and tried to call me as a prophet, he doesn't know the Agape. He doesn't know the Hashem. He don't know what the that's right. It became a living will and testament that day. There were things that were blotted out. The book of Colossians 2 and 14, but people are way too, there'll be a great falling away from the word. They don't study it. It's not in their glossa. It's foreign. It's alien to them. It is. It's an alien dialect, not AI, advanced, artificial. See, they get it forwarded. It's not Agenda 2030. If you ever say that, please leave and unsubscribe to this channel. You're an idiot. It's Agenda 2021, sustainable development for the 21st century, going into 1920, the reset into this age, the 21st century. Welcome to the new age, and people just let them pervert it. Oh, it's global. Get out of here, Al Gore. Get back in the closet, you Nobel piece of crap prize winner with your Michael Mann 150-year hockey stick. Go back 400,000 years, brothers and sisters. You can debunk by fact these idiots who, right, put out this they're demons, distributor of lies and fortunes. And you're an idolater for believing these lies. So you go around telling other people those lies, then you're just a demon like them, by definition. A distributor of lies or fortunes. They used to pray to their ancestors for fortunes. Remember Catholicism? Sacrifice, communion, kill somebody, eat their flesh, open up that porthole, communicate with ancestors. That's what Catholicism is. People are it was outlawed. Deadly head wound that was healed. Constantine blended paganism. Thought he was going to lose his tribe. You know, these tribes to the northern tribes, his kingdom, his ruling. He was slaughtering Christians, trying to get rid of these so he could keep his his power. The northern pagan tribes that went after Baal in the Grove, the Goths and the Visigoths and all those Vandal tribes. Constantine made up the Edict of Toleration, said, all right, we'll tolerate your Satanism with our Christianity. Just shut up, Christians, and we'll stop slaughtering you. And you guys stop slaughtering them, and we'll let you bring all these pagan gods in our church. Christianity, Catholicism, all the same vanity. Yeah, Christianity. Yeah, the Egyptian religion. Please do your homework on Christianity. Christ means you're a believer. Christianity meaning you're a follower of Jesus Christ. But no, I'm talking about the religion. It's just a rebranding of this same Baal in the Grove, fire and tree, sun and moon worship. Just rebranded. How many times can you rebrand something and make it evil and people love to put it on? Like a a Santa hat. Guilty? My father died celebrating this vain Nimrod custom. He actually was Nimrod. My dad dressed up as Nimrod. Killed him celebrating that same festival. Lost his life being a Nimrod. My own dad. Seriously. He was a Nimrod for celebrating these things and then not reading Jeremiah 10, right? And then celebrating it with us. He's got in such a hurry to celebrate being a Nimrod. He dressed up as Nimrod. I had to mess with everybody at school and get in a fight with everybody because obviously I had just when your dad is Nimrod and Santa Claus at school, then you're the kind of one that people are like, hey, your dad's like Nimrod, huh? Big John, he's 500 over. My dad was over 500 pounds when he died. Huge, big dude. Made the perfect Nimrod. And for year after year after year after, I only got to spend 8 years with my dad, but that I can remember. But he got in such a hurry to celebrate the Nimrod Christmas festival that he used some product to kind of clean the floor and strip it from some stuff that had stuck to it, and it blew the whole house up. And he died. It cost him his life being a Nimrod in celebration of the birth of Saturnalia. My dad was celebrating the sacrament of the Mass, and it killed him. Literally killed him. Christmas killed my father. No, my father's in heaven. Christmas killed my dad, the one who was a Nimrod. And I have a lot of love for my dad, but just as I made mistakes, so did my dad, and it ended up costing him his life. Think about that. I have to live with that my whole life. Watch my dad die right in front of my eyes, celebrating the birth of the phallic sun god. And he died by fire. He burnt in the house. When I was 16, he was 37 years old. Being a Nimrod cost him his life. Got in too big of a hurry, and it was all God's timing. He tried to avoid it, but God made it that way. So he tried to have somebody do an installation and on this carpet, which was, I don't go by Murphy's Law, but the very last thing. I told you I get to be with my dad for 8 years. This was the very last construction in the whole house. We had literally, my father, myself, because I was always in trouble. My brothers were always out playing, but I was always in trouble, so I had to help them all the time. Was always on restriction. Got my butt beat, my head knocked off by my dad. And so I worked with him all the time, and we remodeled that whole house. My dad moved into that house when he stole me from my mom. We got there, it was not, it was just all outdated, very old, not dirty, but just super outdated. And he went through and did, everything. Everything from one side of the property to the other, front to back, everything was, it was just LA. So it wasn't a huge, it was a big parcel in LA, like a third of an acre was pretty good size, but remodeled all of it and everything. And he left the green carpet in the kitchen because through the front door and through the garage, you had to go through the kitchen. So it was that 8th year, and we always had the Christmas Eve party, Nimrod party at our house. All the family would come and celebrate the Nimrod festival, the Saturnalia, sacrament of the Mass. And he was trying to have, his back was so bad. I've never seen my dad call for help. A few things in 8 years, but normally he had me or whatever. He never called for help. He'd do it himself. But his back was so bad because my dad had broke his back and bent in half like a taco in the 70s. That he bent in half like a taco. He shouldn't even have walked ever again, but by the glory of God, he did. So he was in some severe pain. Honestly, I never heard my dad talk about having another back surgery. He had 2 major reconstructive back surgeries, talking about having his third one. Had surgery in the 70s and then was talking again about maybe in the 90s because he was so bad. My dad was in a lot of pain. I've never seen him in that much pain in 8 years. I know because I've had some, but I don't have near the people. How do you live with the pain you live with? My dad bent in half like a taco the wrong way. That'll sever your spinal cord. That'll kill you instantly. Somehow he lived. By the glory of God, he was never supposed to even operate a wheelchair. Paraplegic, neck down, paralyzed. And he said, he told me that it was God that did it, you know. And so he came and stole me from my mom because we were getting a lot of bad things, me and my brothers, just a lot of things I don't want to talk about, but enough to come steal us and be chased by Los Angeles Police Department, have to have the Hells Angels hide us and put us in hiding until we were safe. My life has been crazy, guys. Imagine going down the highway being chased by LAPD with your dad just flying down the hill in a big van. He outran the cops, LAPD, that day, and he got us away from my mom. But we were in sad shape. So all of us were. So, but he had to get an attorney. And once they took pictures and stuff, we got put in a better position. But he literally had to come steal us. I mean, set up the whole thing. My mom was pissed, but she wasn't there most of the time anyway. So, but anyways, after 8 years, brothers and sisters, this was the last project on the house. And it was this ugly green low pile carpet. I mean, the thin carpet. And we lived in LA. It was a slab home built right on concrete, and they glued the floor to that carpet to the floor. And when he peeled it up, that glue stuck, and he used chemical and got impatient and tried to do it himself. The guy didn't show up. He was supposed to be there on the 21st and 22nd. He never showed up. My dad was so upset. And so he decided to just rip it out himself. He didn't want it in there. He had already had the carpet. He had already bought it. We had already went and bought the carpet. You know what I'm saying? We already had it. It was sitting there, and the guy was going to come do the install because my dad was that bad. He didn't want to lean down on the ground. Guy didn't show up. My dad got in a rush, used a chemical. It blew up the whole house. It literally blew up the whole house, all but 2 windows. So I've always had to live with this. You know, I saw my dad moments before he died, and I got in an argument and was talking back to my dad. That's the last thing I had words with my dad, was argued with him. Remember, I told you he beat my face for telling me twice. I grew up in a generation, you didn't get told twice. You got beat the second time, remember? Corporal punishment was okay back then. Nobody, hold on, he must have done something wrong. I'll hold him down when you beat the snap out of him. In public, if you're doing something, he must have done something really wrong. So, but I did. I should have never done that, but it is what it is. I've always had to live with that. So, but if it wasn't for my dad that told me to leave that house, I mean, instantly, as soon as I walked out and slammed that door in the back because I was all pissed off, the whole house blew up. Instantly. Boom. Everyone, there was 2 doors that were closed in the bottom. So it was a 5-bedroom house. All the windows in the up room, except for the kitchen or the bathroom where he eventually made it to go save his sister. He's in the middle of explosion. Somehow he made it upstairs. They don't even know, you know, whatever, by the grace of God. But I had just walked out the house, slammed the door. I was all upset at my dad that he wouldn't let me go inside and take a rest because the air conditioning was on inside the house. So when I slammed that door, it was either the hot water heater that ignited it or me slamming the door. My aunt came out. She was upstairs. And she came out because when I slammed that door, I was all upset at my dad. That window blew out right in front of me. Boom! The whole house blew up. Everything except for the 2 back bedrooms, which was mine and my brother's. All the windows, the back door blew out. The kitchen windows blew out. The front, all the side windows, all the upstairs windows blew out from the concussion. And except for the bathroom window upstairs. And so I remember at that point, I looked up, I see my aunt naked at the top of the stairwell. There was a garage that went up, and my dad built a deck to get up to that back. There were 2 big windows, you know, the sliding glass window. That bottom one blew out, the top one blew out, and she came out the back, and she was naked. I didn't know what. That's all I remember. And then I blacked out. I don't remember anything after that until my brothers told me what I did, and I didn't know that I had done anything I did. I went back inside the house, and because they came around, I was pissed at my brothers because they weren't helping me tear down the pool. My dad was trying to get the house ready for Christmas Eve party. I had tore down the whole pool by myself. It was a big doughboy. He wanted to get another one. It was nice. He always kept it nice, but he wanted to get a new one. And so he had all of us 3 boys tear it down. And they always did this to me. They always would go dink off, and because they got away with and got good grades, my dad really wouldn't. He would punish them, but he wouldn't. They had they had some leeway, and I wouldn't go tattletale on them. So most of the time they just sit around, and they didn't work when they were supposed to. And it's okay. They got good grades. My dad didn't care as long as we got good grades. And I'm not saying they had chores 6 days a week, just like me, but I got in trouble all the time. You know what I'm saying? I got in trouble all the time. So I always had to work with my dad. I was always on restriction. They were always out doing something. And it seems like every time I go out and get some time on my own, I break a bone or I get in trouble or, whatever. And I'd have to be back at the house because I wouldn't do the things of this world. So, but my brother said I went inside that house and they said they saw me come out. There was fire. I went around to the front garage door. I guess I went in and looked for my dad. Came back out. They're like, it's crazy. You walked right into that whole garage was on fire. You walked right in the door, right into where the fire was coming out the top. They said the fire was coming out the top of the garage door because that whole area had exploded and the whole thing was smoldering with the chemical or whatever. And, in the container. And, cause that's what had happened. That combusted. I'd figured out, they didn't even figure this out on the police report or on the fire marshal, that hot water heater guy, this is the lesson learned too, for any of you who are listening. Like I said, it was either that pile of light. Now listen to me, please. I have to live with this. You just have to live with this. It's whatever. I know it's God and it is what it is. I've always just had to live with this. Because I saw my aunt come out naked, I knew she was in the shower. Okay. That pilot light could have kicked on and ignited the fumes because whatever chemical the fumes were laying down on the bottom. See, I'd walked in the back of the garage, from the garage, through the garage, into the house and said, Dad, I'm going to go lay down. I'm all done taking down the pool. It's done. It's done. I'm done, Dad. I need to go. I'm hot. I complained. I griped at my dad. I said, Sean and Jeremy didn't help me. And I normally didn't say anything about it. I said, Sean and Jeremy didn't help me and I'm hot. This was LA. It's sunny all year, and I said, I want to go lay down because my dad always kept the house really cool during the summertime. So we had some place to come in. If we were out to go play, we could come in. We had to go back out, but if we were in trouble, but he kept the house like a stinking morgue. So all I wanted to do was go inside and lay down for about 10 or 15 minutes and cool off and go in my bedroom. But I walked in the house and I got, in the house. I remember seeing my dad down there on the ground. He was still scraping off or whatever. I didn't see anything on the ground, but there was a little something over in the corner, but it wasn't anything on the ground. And he said, go back outside. And I said, Dad, I said, I want to go. And he looked at me like he was going to get up off that ground and come and just whatever that thing he had in his hand out there, you're going to slit my throat with it. He looked pissed. And so I was upset because I couldn't go in the house. So I walked out and I slammed the door and bam, it all blew up in my face. Glass right in front of me, So either I did it or my aunt with the pilot light kicked on. The pilot light could have kicked on and I slammed the door because I was pissed and it blew it in and ignited up. So I don't know. I've had to live with that my whole life. But whatever in that moment when I slammed that door upset at my dad, the whole house blew up. Imagine that, being pissed, arguing with your dad, and then you slam the door and then the whole house blows up in your face. I've had to live with that my whole life. So like I said, either I did it or my aunt did it. And I didn't mean to do it. Whatever, I was young. I was 16 years old. I was just upset. I wanted to go lay down. And I shouldn't have argued with my dad, and I shouldn't have got upset. But Christmas killed him. Or I did. One of the two. Brothers and sisters, that hot water heater was sitting on the ground. Please get your hot water heater up off the ground, please. Because whatever those fumes, whether I slammed the door and it pushed that in to ignite those fumes, or my aunt in the pilot light wasn't on. I mean, it was there. And she is in the shower. and the shower light kicked on, that could have been it, but that would have been at the same time. So you tell me. So I don't know. I don't even want to be here. I told you I've had to live with that my whole life. Pretty much as long as I can remember. That started a downhill spiral that I cannot even begin to tell you the things that started happening in my life after that. Living on the streets of Los Angeles without a guardian. It was tough, guys. I was getting chased around by LAPD and no guardian, and I just lost my father. I lost everything I own. I only had the clothes on my back. I didn't have shoes. I think it was a week before I got a pair of shoes. I don't know how long I walked around in my socks. Seemed like a while. It was probably only a couple of days, but I don't know. My head was gone. My mind is warped. So please be careful if you do have an old hot water heater, because something like that could happen. And if you use a chemical that can have a low-lying, some things the fumes lay on the ground. They don't raise up because they're heavy. They're like, oil and water. They lay down on the ground. And if you have that hot water heater up off the ground, that's why they're supposed to have your hot water heater up off the ground. And I'm telling you, my dad didn't. And we moved into that house. It was that way. So I never even thought about it. It didn't hit me, guys, until, about a year later, what had happened that day. I was just laying there and going, oh my God, I killed my dad. It was me who did it. I didn't think about the combustion and the slamming of the door because I was still so spun for almost a year. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if I did it or not, and I can't change anything. I'm not worried. I know that my father was in more pain that time than I've ever seen him in his entire life. So I'm glad that the Father in heaven took him, because he was really struggling. But it is what it is. Yeah, and this was in the garage right outside the door, Iceman, right next to the washer and dryer. So, like I said, there was a good chance that I did it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'll never know. God will answer that. Imagine living that with your whole life, thinking you killed your own dad because you got pissed off. You're the one who slammed the door, and that's when that same explosion went. You think it was slamming the door, or you think it was my aunt? I don't know. We've always had to dice this in my mind. I'm glad I believe in the Father and he writes all things, because I told guys, I don't want to be here. I've had to live with that for how many years? And I made the same mistake in life again. Sometimes the littlest things bother me. The big things don't even faze me. Like, are you even going to get upset? Nah. Sometimes you get a little frustrated over some of the simplest, smallest things, Tracy. I know. Whatever. I get upset. I'm a human being. I can't only take so much. So, but it is what it is. Thank you for letting me share that story. That'll let you know, guys. My struggle it's always been as long as I could ever remember. That's the only 8 years of my life that I can ever remember that weren't. And they were hard. I didn't have no easy life with my dad. I got in trouble all the time. And remember I told you, I've already shared, I was a space brain. I was not a good kid. I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't do. I mean, I would mind enough to get, to keep from getting beat, or to stay just enough to stay off restriction. But a lot of times I crossed that line and I was always in trouble anyway. So I couldn't So something's wrong with me. I'm different, I guess. So thanks for letting me share that story with you. This is why you see me go after this Christmas like I do. And that's probably why I think God made me a messenger for this time, so I can reveal what Christmas truly is. Could you see why I have such a mad passion, for this biblical and historical record of Catholicism, of the Mass, of the Christ Mass? And again, I'm still always learning, but why my vernacular is, I guess, again, I'm still learning, but it's I try to give a very thorough of understanding, but I don't know. God's kept me in this world because, trust me, you guys, I didn't want to be alive after that. And I did not like God for a while. It took me about a year. to talk, to even talk to God ever. After that, I didn't talk to God for at least a year. I'm confused, super confused. I didn't know what to do. I was living on the streets of Los Angeles with nowhere to live. I went to live with my aunt because she lived in the house and she tried to restrict what we could do. And remember, I told you, my dad said if we didn't get in trouble, if we got good grades, we can stay out as late as we wanted. So he said, she put kind of all kinds of restrictions, and then she got upset at me, and then we ended up getting thrown out of the house. So we were all on the streets. I ended up getting all my brothers thrown out. My older brother too, because he was pretty pissed at what my aunt had done with me. She got all upset. I had my car, my truck, and I was trying to, it all burn up, guys, in the fire. My truck that I was building with my dad and stuff, it all burned up, and I was trying to get it fixed. I was trying to get my head straight. And she had thought that I had driven the car, and I didn't. I had it towed, and she just wouldn't listen to me. She just wouldn't listen to me. And my brothers were like, he didn't. He had the car towed. Here's it. And she wouldn't listen. You need to stay in this time. You guys are stepping over your bound, because she thought she could coddle us or something. And we ended up that day getting kicked out of there. All of us. Even my brother was only 14 years old or something like that. And so we made sure my younger brother was put up, had a place to live. And then my brother went to live with his girlfriend, and I stayed on the streets. I lived in wherever I could find. Slept on my truck for a while. Slept wherever I could. Parks. I used to have a place we used to go play, and we used to call it the canyon. Okay, I had built a fort out there and stuff when I was younger. I went and slept in there and wherever I could. Try to go to school, and then LAPD tried to put me in foster care because I didn't have a guardian. It's because we had LAPD at our school, and so I dodged it for a while, brothers and sisters. But once the system got a hold of me and knew that, I didn't have a legal guardian and stuff, that my mom lived up here in Oregon, they tried to come put me in foster care. And that's when was forced to move up here to Oregon, because I didn't want to be put in foster care. I was 16 years old. What do you mean a foster care? I've done, so it just never ends, brothers and sisters. My life has just been a madness. As a matter of fact, I got to go. I said I was going to go help that guy, so I better get off here. Thank you for letting me share that story with you guys. Now you know why I don't like Christmas, because either I'm a Nimrod and I got pissed and killed my dad, and I know God writes all things, or the water heater kicked on because my aunt, I saw her naked, and so it could have been that. But I don't know, the timing of slamming the door and the house blowing up at the same time, I'm telling you, I sure feel like I had a big part to do with that, guys. I really do, and I've always carried that weight my whole life. I don't know what to do. It's hard. I don't ever hardly get to tell that to anybody. I don't like sharing the story, but it is what it is. It's just part of my life. I can't leave it behind, and I can't worry about things I can't change. I can only try to worry about the things in front of me. And so I appreciate it. So you know who I am. That lets you know who I've never won. What in the hey was that? I've never really wanted to be here, guys. I wanted to tap out when I was 16 years old. I was so upset at God for taking my dad, thinking that I had done it and couldn't talk to anybody about it. My brothers don't even know about that. I've never even told my own brothers. Nope. They only saw me come out and tell me all the things I did, walk in the fire. I somehow went in the fire. Somehow I pulled the garage door open when it was locked right off the darn thing. But I somehow must have had some kind of super strength that day. Went to the front door because I knew my dad was in there, and I snapped. That's when I came back, guys. And they said that I reached a hold of a handle that was not red, but they could see that it was literally hot. I mean, burning hot, because that whole thing inside of there. And somehow I opened the door up and looked inside, and it was just nothing but fire, wall to wall. I can still remember that day and seeing that big, huge ball of whatever it was consuming. And my younger brother, that's when I finally came to, and he said, "That's Dad!" And I told him, "No, it's not." And I went around and tried to find him and punched out the windows in those two front bedroom windows trying to find him. And that's when the police department or the fire department showed up. I was going in the window, busted. I punched out my brother's windows, broke all my hands, kicked out because my hands were broken, kicked out the bedroom windows, and my window are in my bedroom. My feet were all messed up from that. Remember, I didn't have shoes on. was going through the blinds, climbing through the blinds, when the fire department, like 3 or 4 guys, pulled me out of the house. And I was that close to going inside, and I was going to find my dad. You know, I was bound and determined. I know I just seen him. You know what I'm saying? I remembered that I was what happened, but I'd only had a flash, and it was just happening so fast. So they pulled us away, and I remember watching the house just burn to the ground. I was like, wow, you know, and knowing that my dad was in there, there was nothing I could do. It was hard to watch, you know. They didn't even take us away, honestly, which was, I still remember, it's quite weird. They pulled me over to the side, and they all, because actually the police department showed up, and they were worried if I was going to go back in the house. And they were patching up. My hands were all messed up, and I'd already thrown bricks through my truck window to try to move it. And there was a lot of things I did real fast that I don't remember anything. It's my brothers who have told me what I did, you know. I would have never known that I'd done any of that. Because remember, I told you I blacked out. There was all these things I did. And then I remember reaching up to that front door to open the front door. And I remember hearing my brother, "That's Dad." And I was like, you know, I knew it wasn't. I knew it was whatever that container he was using was, you know, just, it was crazy. I mean, felt like 1,000,000 degrees inside there. I don't know how I didn't get burnt there, but somehow, and I had not one single burn on my hands, brothers and sisters. My hands were all messed up from the glass and punching out windows and trying to go through, but no burns. And somehow my brother said, "Tracy, you walked right in the garage. You walked right in the garage, and it was all on fire. There was literally flames." And they said I did the same thing. They said, "You walked around to the front of the house. You're like, 'Where's Dad?' You were screaming, 'Where's Dad?' And you reached a hold of the garage handle and opened up the garage door, and you looked over, and Dad had the lock. It was master locked to the side of the house, and you reached down with your other hand, and you just pulled it right open. You pulled the garage door right off the hinge, literally with the lock on it." And they said they were standing, because they were standing back. They said the fire literally came right over the top of my heads, guys, like that, right out, because I opened it up, just like when I opened up my hood on my truck, it fanned it, it gave it the oxygen. And they said fire came right out, right over the top of my head. They said they looked past me, and they said they didn't know what to do. They said they seen my truck, because my truck was backed up in the driveway where I'd opened the door, and they said that my tail lights immediately started melting when I had opened up that door like that, and it blew out that, because they were the only thing that were plastic. They said they looked over, they could see the light, and they could start to see the paint job start to bubble on the back of my tailgate. And they said, "You were standing right there." They don't know. So I think God protected me that day, brothers and sisters. A year ago, it's a hard day for me. I remember some of the things that I don't even recall that my brothers tell me. They're like, "Dude, you literally opened up the garage door. It's locked. It had a slider, you know, the lock on a stud house, stucco. You said you reached down with one hand. You couldn't. You looked over to the side of it and then reached down with two. It just pulled it right off its hinge. Right? You said it just came right off the wall." They were standing back there. They'd come around the side of the house. That's when they saw me go in. They didn't know where I was. You know, they come in, they came out, and then they followed me around the house, because they were around the back of the house. So they watched me do everything. So none of it makes any sense to me. Like I said, to me, I don't remember, guys. I only can go by what my brothers tell me that day. And, you know, only by the glory of God am I still here today. And that's why I fight so hard, because he could easily take me that day, guys. I could have went in that house, and if I could have got in that house, I would have found my dad. I probably would have burnt with him. I want to let you know, my dad was not a bad man because he celebrated Christmas, okay? And he was a good man. He sacrificed his own life, brothers and sisters. I seen my dad. He was all burnt. His hands were, my brothers didn't get to see him. I got to see him. I stayed there all night because I wanted to see them take my dad out of that house. My brothers left. I stayed there until way late that night. And I'm telling you, my dad was selfless. He could have went straight out that front door. He had just seen me. He had just seen me. We had just spoken. But instead of coming out and getting me, I want to tell you, this is one of those things too to still remember this day, because I remember it so clear. I remember my dad when the house blew up, brothers and sisters, and that glass blew up right in front of me. My dad said 3 words: Sean, Tracy, and Jeremy. 3 words is all he said. Screamed them as loud as he could. I heard that over the concussion. brothers and sisters. I could hear that, not that concussion was still boo. And then he started screaming that Sean Jeremy Tracy. He said all three of those names. And then instead of running out the door, brothers and sisters, he went up to save his sister's life. My aunt said she got a hold of him and he said he thought he was on fire. She said, I had a hold of your dad. I had a hold of his hands. He kept saying, I'm on fire, Christine, I'm on fire. And he wanted to go into the bathroom and get in the shower because he had thought, you guys, his whole side of it was burnt. Wherever it blew up that side, and his hands obviously were bad or whatever. But that whole side of him, the rest of it wasn't. But anyways, he ran upstairs to save his sister's life, being selfless without saving his own, running out the door. I think he screamed for us to make sure we knew we weren't in the house. He immediately went up the stairs and told his sister, because I spoke with her about this, and she said that she thought, he thought that he was on fire because, guys, he was in that explosion and his side of him was burnt. So what he tried to do was to go into the bathroom and get water on himself because he thought he was burning. And my aunt was trying to tell him, you're not on fire, John. You're not on fire. But imagine, he was just concussed, burnt. He probably felt like he was on fire. She said she had a hold of his hand like that. And then she said and that's when she came out, like I said, she was outside, this was, hard for me to, and then he went inside and collapsed right there. And that's where he died. He actually literally died of smoke inhalation. So he drowned on his own fluid in his own lungs. That's one of the worst ways to die, guys. It's like drowning. And I don't mean to, if you've ever had somebody's died in a fire, I apologize. I just want to tell you, this is one of the toughest way to go. You literally drowned on your own fluids from your lungs. So he didn't go easy. But he went and saved his sister's life. I really felt like my dad probably could have made it out there that day if he just would have busted out the back door, because he was right there next to me. I knew he was in that kitchen, but instead of coming out, he went to save his aunt's. He saved my aunt's life, and she ended up stealing everything from us anyway. So pretty crazy. I told you, it just gets better and better. So thank you, brothers, sisters. I could sit here and tell you stories like this for weeks on end in my life. It's just nothing but stuff like this, one after the other. Went and joined the army, cheated on me, got pregnant by somebody else. What, a year later? It's just, oh my God, it never ends. So anyways, I got to go, guys. I got to go help this guy out. He's an old man. He's in a walker. He got run over out here and he needs some help, guys. And I want to go help this guy out because he needs it. He can't, like I said, he's been in a walker. He got run over by a big tractor and he needs my help. I want to go help him. He gives me a ride to town every once in a while. Remember when my money got robbed that day? dropped the wallet. He's the man who gave me to a ride to town, and he helped me out and gave me $40 so that I can get my bag. I was going to get 5 bags of dog food and ended up coming home with just one. And yeah, I gave him this. I'm glad I keep silver on me. I had a piece of silver. It's what he covered me and gave me the $40. So as a matter of fact, he still has that piece of silver. So I bought it back from him, but he wanted it. So it's his. It's like, all right, well, you can have it. What? So anyways, much love, guys. Appreciate it. I got to go help this gentleman out, and I got to get to work so I can figure out how to buy some tires for my vehicle that I out here, because it's the only one I got. Remember, the other one caught on fire. One day after using it, yeah, everything's going to be awesome. It caught on fire. Old man truck, really nice truck too. One day, one drag, boom, caught on fire. See, everything I could tell you is, see why I can't be around anybody? See why God isolates me? My son doesn't even want to be around me most of the time because my life is too crazy. So, all right, much love, guys. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. If you want to make a donation, I have a PayPal and I have a Cash App. It's not required. Just coming in here and leaving comments and stuff is a blessing to me. Just having somebody else to talk to, so I'm not alone. I'm a loner and I'm an outcast, but set apart. We'll put about that. maybe that's a better way to put it. So thank you for letting me share my life with you. Okay. I'm just a man. I know I say I'm apocalypse because I try to live that, you know, I'm revelation, but I'm just a man, guys. Okay. Much blessings. And I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Walk and follow in the commandments of the Father. That's agape. All right. 2 John and 6. Always agape. Whoa.